Welcome to TRS, Your Retirement in Focus. Back in the 1980s, when I was a high school student, I had my very first job as a dishwasher at a local Waffle House. I can very fondly remember a little old lady named Dixie. She was a customer who would come in pretty much on a weekly basis. She was a very sweet old lady who offered me the following unsolicited advice. Young man, every time you get a paycheck, be sure to save some of your paycheck for yourself. I didn't realize it until many years later, but what she was saying was, invest in yourself and by all means, invest in your future. Albert Einstein is reputed to have said that compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it, earns it. He who doesn't, pays it. Now one might say, why is he talking about Waffle House, little old ladies, and Albert Einstein? I said all of that to say this. It is never too early to start focusing on your retirement planning. The potential for compound interest on your contributions alone is plenty reason enough. As we continue our focus on TRS's new hire events, you will better understand the value of planning early as it relates to your retirement. Let's take a listen, shall we? So here's another scenario, Shaleste. Let's say that Melanie is 23 years old and just starting her career. She's more focused on the right now, so why should she care about her future retirement benefit?
So we're going to look at it from this perspective. Time is money. Getting an early start on retirement gives you a huge advantage and make sure you maintain your financial health in retirement. You want to take advantage of compound interest as well. With compound interest, the earlier you start, the more you can take advantage of that because you have more time to accumulate more interest. It's like playing chess versus checkers. Planning for retirement, you always look at it from that long game perspective. You also want to be able to understand your budget so you can maintain that lifestyle that you're accustomed to as an active worker in retirement. Of course, when we retire, we look at taking vacations and living a good life, but you have to plan for that, okay? Another illustration you maybe can use is look at an oak tree, right? It didn't start as a beautiful oak tree. The shade wasn't always there. You had to plant that seed, and over time, it gained strength, and it grew over to become that nice shady tree that you wanted in your yard. So in retirement, you have to invest in yourself. The earlier you invest, the larger the outcome will be once you reach that point of retirement. So you definitely want to look at those things you want in reference to maintaining that lifestyle, okay? As a general rule, I should say, financial experts say you need about 80% of your pre-retirement income to maintain the lifestyle that you're accustomed to in retirement. So from that perspective, you want to kind of see exactly what you want in retirement and set those goals so you can build towards that bridge to where you can retire, maintain that financial health, and maintain a lifestyle that you're accustomed to as you were as an active employee. And of course, that may vary per individual depending on what your lifestyle needs are. When you start to invest early, you're able to understand your budget and how much you will need to maintain that lifestyle. And of course, you can start searching out and looking for other supplemental things. Of course, with TRS, you have a pension, lifetime benefit. You've already established that source of income, but you may need something to supplement what you'll be receiving from TRS. And with those supplemental plans, that allows you to take advantage of compound interest, okay? The earlier you start that, over time, it grows more. A lot of people look at it too as well. When I first started working, my income wasn't as high as it would be once I get further on in my career, which is okay. You can adjust the amounts you invest through those supplemental plans. You may want to start off with something small, a small percentage early on in your career, and over time increase it to the level in which you desire for your income once you reach that retirement point.
I see. And the one thing I do pull away from that is, and one thing I know for sure, is the longer you work, the larger your benefit. And that's always a good thing. Like you said, you cannot beat the compound interest.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is a definite. The longer you work, the higher it goes.
So what if a member is somewhat new to TRS and they've only been teaching, let's say, 4 years or so? Are they still considered as a new member?
Well, technically, yes, but they're actually on the cusp of becoming a mid-career member, I should say. So we kind of put them in these categories. Less than 5 years, we do consider you guys as new members. Between 5 years to 25 years, that's going to be the mid-career area. And that's going to be the point where you're coming upon being vested, and right after being vested, getting closer to pre-retirement. Pre-retirement usually occurs between 25 years, or where you're about 5 years away. That's if you're using 30 years as the retirement threshold in which you start drawing your benefit. We also have a second set of retirees that are maybe in second or third careers. So they may be reaching age 60. So with that being said, say you have about 5 years and you're 55 years old. So you may be at that mid-career to get to your 10-year vesting point, of course, and start drawing your pension immediately. Or you have some members that may want to work beyond age 60. So it all depends on where you are in reference to age, as well as how much creditable service you have to qualify to be eligible to start drawing that retirement pension.
Let's say that Rohan is age 55 with 5 years of service, and this is his second career. Would the new hire presentations be good for him to take part of?
Absolutely. I would start with a new hire. And of course, I may attend a pre-retirement a little further on when I get a little closer, maybe 2 to 3 years away from reaching age 60. And the reason why new hire would still be beneficial is because they're not yet vested. So there are some things that may be important to the process, so they get to the point to where they may not get to the vesting point, which is 10 years. So they do have options in reference to their funds there. Or there may be some things that they can use to get to their 10 years a little quicker, maybe through a service purchase or other things like that. And we touch on all of those type of things through the new hire presentation. So there are some great tidbits in our new hire that will be beneficial for someone in that circumstance. Again, they're not yet vested, so they're maybe 5 years away, depending if they're going to use age 60 to retire. They may work to age 65. So technically, yes, it would be very beneficial for them to attend a new hire. And if they're looking to retire within the next few years after they're vested or right upon being vested, maybe 2 to 3 years away, you may want to go to a pre-retirement. But to answer your question, absolutely, I would attend a new hire presentation or workshop.
Well, Shaleste, thank you very much for that information. Very, very good information. I'm sure that all of our members will benefit from that information.
No, absolute pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so very much for listening to this week's episode. And be sure to check out next week's episode as we continue to discuss topics important to you as a new TRS member. So join us then for TRS, Your Retirement in Focus.